Some histories are carved in stone, displayed beneath glass, and spoken with authority. But even stone can lie. And sometimes it takes one voice, steady, unyielding, to crack the facade and let the truth breathe again. Dr. Elijah Carter was not an imposing man. His voice was quiet, his movements deliberate. And yet when he stepped into the halls of the Jefferson Museum of American Heritage, his presence commanded attention. For decades, the museum had been the authority on the nation's past. Its marble floors and polished exhibits carried a weight of certainty. This is history. This is truth. But Elijah had studied the past in places where truth was not framed on a wall, but whispered through descendants, preserved in diaries, and hidden in the soil of plantations. He knew the gaps, the omissions, the deliberate silences that textbooks and institutions maintained. That day, the museum unveiled its new exhibit, Foundations of Prosperity, the Southern Economy, 1800 to 1860. The glass cases shone with artifacts, cotton tools, ledgers, polished portraits of plantation owners smiling in painted oil. The plaques beneath spoke of innovation, agricultural genius, and the industrious spirit of the South. But one word was missing: slavery. Not once did it appear. Elijah stood before a case of iron shackles polished to look almost ornamental. The label beneath them read, "Restraints common to agricultural workers of the era." His jaw tightened. Around him, visitors strolled casually, absorbing the narrative as though it were gospel. At the center of the room, the museum director, a tall man in a tailored suit, beamed at the crowd. "This exhibit," he declared, "celebrates the ingenuity that built our nation's wealth. It is a story of progress and perseverance." Elijah raised his voice, steady but unflinching. "Whose progress? Whose perseverance?" The room stilled. Dozens of eyes turned toward him. The director frowned. "Sir, if you have a question, please save it for the Q&A portion." But Elijah did not stop. "This is not progress, it is erasure. These fields, this wealth, these smiling portraits, none of it existed without enslaved Black men, women, and children. Their bodies built this prosperity. Their suffering fueled this ingenuity. Yet you write them out as if they never existed." A murmur rippled through the crowd. Some visitors looked back at the exhibits, unease flickering in their eyes. The director's face reddened. "This is not the time nor the place for—" "This is exactly the place," Elijah cut in. His voice rose now, carrying to the back of the hall. "Museums are supposed to tell history, not bury it. Every artifact here cries the truth you refuse to name. Those shackles weren't for workers. They were for slaves. Those ledgers weren't about agriculture. They were records of human lives bought and sold. And those paintings? They show masters. But where are the faces of the enslaved? Where are the voices of the people who paid with blood for this so-called prosperity?" Silence pressed heavy in the hall. Some visitors nodded slowly. Others looked away in shame. The director's jaw tightened. "Security," he snapped. Two guards approached, but before they reached Elijah, a young woman from the crowd stepped forward. "He's right." Another voice followed. "Where's the truth in this museum if you leave slavery out?" Then another. "History isn't just comfort, it's pain too. Let him speak." The guards hesitated, glancing at the swelling crowd. Dozens of phones were raised, recording. Elijah held his ground, his voice steady. "You can escort me out, but you cannot silence history." And then came the twist. The young woman reached into her bag and pulled out a folded diary. "My great-great-grandmother was enslaved on one of the plantations celebrated here. Her words describe these shackles, these ledgers, these very fields. If you won't show the truth, we will." Gasps rippled through the hall. Visitors crowded closer, filming as the woman read aloud passages describing brutal whippings. children sold away, the endless labor that underpinned the Southern prosperity on display. The director's face drained of color. The cameras caught every second, the diary in the woman's trembling hands, Elijah standing like a stone pillar, and the audience that had turned from passive observers to outraged witnesses. By the next morning, the museum was on every news channel. Headlines screamed, "Museum erases slavery in new exhibit. Historian exposes lie." The director was forced to resign. The exhibit was torn down in disgrace before the week was out. And Elijah? He did not gloat. He simply reminded anyone who asked, "History cannot be buried forever. Truth has a way of breaking glass."